Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video. Today this one is a bit of a different one. For those that don't know, from time to time I will do a commenting on comments sort of video in which I will answer some of the more frequently asked comments and maybe even answer some stuff that I think are important to the channel and are some of the videos that I've made in the past. Before I get into that though, I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone for their amazing support over the last couple of weeks. I mean, the channel has been doing absolutely amazing and a lot of subscribers have come in, so that is a big thank you. I really appreciate the support. I never actually thought I would get to this level, but it is doing really good, and that's all down to you guys and your amazing support. So first thing before I do get into the comments, I want to cover several things. A lot of people have been asking me why I've not made any ARC videos, and to be fairly honest, I have not dropped ARC from the channel. It is here to stay. I just prefer making the guides and tutorials more than gameplays. Don't get me wrong, I do play the game when I get a chance, but I seem to enjoy more the fact that I can test stuff and I suppose find weaknesses or methods and strategies of obtaining stuff. And as it currently stands, apart from the holiday patches where, you know, you had the Valentine's event and the Christmas event and stuff like that, really hasn't been much going on. Now, there is the Lucky by Nature channel that do cover news for ARC, and so I'm not going to be doing that sort of deal. I don't have the time to actually keep up with every little bit of news that comes out and changes and stuff, and they probably do it better than I would anyways. So I'm not going to be covering stuff like that. I am going to stick primarily to the guides and tutorials, and from time to time when things are slow I might put gameplay videos on the channel. I'm going to be trying out new games as well at some point in time in the future, but as it currently stands I still have quite a lot of stuff to do for Conan Exiles. So obviously Conan Exiles is a fairly new game to the channel, and I'm going to be trying to cover as much content as I can. As it currently stands, I pretty much have done all that there is to do for ARC. I think there are the DLCs, the unpaid DLCs that I haven't covered, but I'm not going to cover those. I'm probably going to focus on the more important stuff in ARC. Also, very important, I now have a Patreon account, so if you guys want to support me on Patreon, that's fine. Obviously, nobody is obligated to do such a thing, and that is just for people that want to support me. I just thought I'd open it up as an option. My videos will always be free, and for as long as I can make them, I will make them. Of course, it's not always easy because, as it is, I do have a full-time job, and I also do this YouTube as a full-time thing. Not necessarily get paid for it, but I do take it quite seriously, and I do try and release a video a day as much as I can. Obviously, sometimes life gets in the way, or my body tells me I'm too tired and refuses to work with me, so there might be the odd day here and there where there won't be a video, but generally I do try and stick to the one video a day schedule. Of course, this isn't always an easy task to do. As I mentioned before, I do have a full-time job, and sometimes it just is a case of me coming from work late at night, then spending hours during the night preparing the videos, getting maybe 3 to 6 hours of sleep, then going back to work and just doing it over and over again. So of course things like this will catch up with me, and it just comes to a point where my body just refuses to work with me. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I enjoy doing it, and I always enjoy the positive feedback from people that I've helped with my videos, and so that is the greatest motivation for me for doing what I do. Of course, there's also a chance from time to time for me to get things wrong or be slightly misunderstood, as obviously English, for those that don't know, isn't necessarily my primary language. It is now, since I've moved to the UK, but I didn't grow up in an English-speaking country, so sometimes that does complicate the situation, and so maybe I don't really necessarily get the message out as I intended to. However, this brings me into the next thing that I wanted to cover. So these are based off of several comments, and they're based on or around the Relic Hunter Treasure Seeker Thralls. That seems to have caused a bit of confusion and some controversy. So a lot of people are comparing the thralls with the tier 4s, which is fair enough. You know, that's alright. I mean, as far as I see it, and logically speaking, of course, you know, a tier 3 is a tier 3, a tier 4 is a tier 4. It's always going to be better in some way. I mean, the relic hunter treasure seekers are better than most tier 4 thralls. Obviously, there will be a handful of tier 4 thralls, and a lot of people have actually commented and told me and give me ideas for the tier 4 thralls. So as a result, just as a thought here, I will be making a video on some of their locations, but primarily at some point this week, by the end of this week at least anyways, I plan on making a test video with the more common thralls suggested in those videos. So that would be the Captain Duchess, the Sharp, Spinus the Marauder, the Cimmerian Barbarian or Berserker, and obviously I am going to be selecting only a handful. In that test, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be equipping them with the best weapons and armor, or some of the best weapons and armor obtainable in the game, and then we will put them against a boss in which I will time them to see how quickly they kill the boss. Obviously this is just a tier 4 test. Now what I meant, going back to the video, what I meant to actually say in that video is that it's a good or the best tier 3 thrall. Probably didn't express myself properly. I guess some people didn't or don't necessarily want to accept that. Obviously it is definitely the best archer that you can get in the game, to my knowledge. Obviously I might be wrong there, but I haven't found an archer that is any better than that. I think there is a tier 3 archer, that tier 4 archer, sorry for that, that spawns in the volcano. Again, that's going to be a rare spawn to get, going to be quite difficult. Obviously in that video I'm going to be testing the named thralls. I'm going to be putting them against a boss. I'm going to have to think about what boss that's going to be, and we'll see which one does the killing faster. I have my suspicions on which ones will win, but obviously that will be coming out later this week. Also, while I'm on the topic, to be fairly honest, with English being the way it is for me, being primarily a second language, I guess I don't always find the best words to use to express what I mean to say, which can lead to the message that I'm trying to relay being misunderstood. But that's fine, you know. I guess it'll have to push me to be better at expressing what I want to say. And just to go back briefly to my earlier comment on ARC videos, I will continue making them, but I think what I want to do is I want to stick to guides and tutorials for ARC. I might make some gameplay videos from time to time. They'll be a lot rarer though. I guess what I am trying to say is I'm waiting for new content for ARC Survival Evolved, and when that comes out, obviously I'm going to do my best to cover it through guides and tutorials and obviously discoveries that I make as I play and test the game. Next most common question, or actually suggestion this time around, a lot of people have been giving me a lot of suggestions for videos and stuff, so I really appreciate that, because sometimes I do struggle on finding ideas for videos and content to make. I do want to keep the guide thing going on the channel, and I also want to keep it interesting and cover stuff that people want to see. And so as a result, at some point in the future, or better said, at some point in the near future, I will be making video guides for the lore tablets. To my knowledge, as far as I know, there are 2 sets that would be the King Giant lore, and there's quite a few of them, and then there is the Lemurian lore tablets for Conan Exiles. And you know, I do like listening to the story. I think a lot of people might enjoy that as well, and that is actually a good suggestion. However, it will take some time to set up for those so that I can keep the videos as short as possible. And obviously, as the lore tablets are narrated, I'm thinking it will most likely be a case of me just doing an intro, a few comments here and there where necessary and needed, and just kind of letting the game tell the lore the best it can. I mean, the voice acting, the lore is pretty interesting, and I think a lot of people might enjoy it. Also, another thing. Now, obviously, I'm covering the comments in my videos, and people, or some people, have tried putting links to other videos or other content. Now, this is quite important because I will not allow any links to external content on my channel. The reason for that is I don't know where that link goes. It's not a secure link, and I don't want people clicking on it and ending up with a virus or having their information hacked or any of that. So I will not allow any stuff like that. If you want to mention something, mention it. Don't add links. Simple as that. Also, another thing I'm not going to allow is any advertisement of anything else on the channel. This isn't a channel designed for advertising other things. It's around gaming and gaming guides and tutorials. And that's what it's going to say. So that's kind of my way of dealing with trolls and potential threats and hazards. The best way to deal with such things from my perspective is just to stop it altogether. So what does that mean? If people post stuff like that, I am just going to automatically ban that user. So don't do stuff like that, because you will end up being banned from the channel. Your comment will never ever show again when you post a comment in the future, because I will pretty much set it up so that your comment will not be visible. It's just that simple. If you want to make a contribution to the community, to the information in the video, feel free to do so, but don't spam with links. Don't advertise stuff. This is not the right place to do it. There are other channels that cover that sort of content. Now, of course, this is only for the spamming of links, the spamming of advertisements or whatnot. If people want to have a joke, that's fine. If they want to have a poke at each other, that's fine, as long as it's within certain bounds. When it gets into trolling, again, I'm gonna not allow that. That's not what I'm here for, and that's not what this channel is for. So I'm definitely going to not allow stuff like that. If people want to have a poke at me, again, people have done in the past. They have tried to troll me, and I've answered back. Some people enjoyed my answers. That's fine. I will not be bothered with that. But when it comes to making sure that the people watching my videos are safe on this channel, then to me that's quite important. So I will not allow stuff like that. So I just wanted to kind of, obviously it should be logical, because I think a lot of YouTubers do this exact same thing, and I think it's the right thing to do. And finally, just as an ending to this one, because I have got again some comments asking me why I talk the way I do. I suppose that's the way I am, but there is a bigger side to it in that, as I mentioned before, I wasn't born in an English-speaking country, and so sometimes I have to think stuff through as I'm going to say it, just to try and get the message across, or to make myself understood. So sometimes I will probably speak more robotic, I guess, probably, because that's what I get compared with. But as long as the message gets across, and I am working on improving on that, it's just, I don't know, it's one of my bad habits, I guess. And as an ending to this particular episode of Commenting on Comments, I just wanted to thank everyone for their amazing suggestions, and obviously adding the information that they did to the videos. So, you know, at the moment there will be a series of videos that are based off of suggestions that will be coming out in the future. So obviously that goes to show you guys that I do read my comments, and the suggestions were amazing, so keep putting those guys in, as it does help me with ideas in terms of what sort of videos you guys would like to see, what you would like me to try out, and stuff you want me to test and show on the channel. Of course, this isn't only limited to Conan Exile's NR Survival Evolved. If you guys want me to play other games and make videos for them, I'm always open to suggestions. I'm always open to criticism. Sometimes, oftentimes actually, I do use the criticism to improve the content that I make, and that's just my way of trying to make sure that I make the best content that I possibly can. So with that being said and done, that is it for this episode of Commenting on Comments. This is a series that is here to stay on the channel. It's not going to be a consistent series though, just because I suppose it is a small channel and there isn't always content to cover in this particular series, but I will cover it and I will make it as and when it's required. And that is it pretty much for this episode of Commenting on Comments. I do hope that you have enjoyed it, and until the next video, stay safe folks.